Gentlemen, we have an untapped market. We have been wasting our time charging tenants for our lustrous condos to living patrons, who eventually die, and can change houses by moving when there is a completely unclaimed land, untaxed might I add, that we can build our deliciously built, superior, American-styled suburban housing for no cost, and the tenants will in fact have to pay us forever. Why? Well, it's because they're already dead. That's right, gents. We need to start building up real estate development in the 9 circles of hell. Think about it, right? These people are currently stuck in these circles forever. Imagine how much money, how much passive income we can get if we charge rent to all those people. And even just one circle, the wealth, the power, the fact that they can never leave since they're all trapped there, and the fact that no competition. If there's a problem or two, like the house, who's gonna complain? We can just say, like, oh yeah, man, it's totally part of your punishment that, like, you sinned earlier, and that's why you don't get a front door. Remember, guys, there's no regulations in hell. We're gonna go on a journey to figure out which one is the most ripe for our delicious suburban housing. First off, we have Circle 1. Now, this is where all the virtuous pagans are, or unbaptized people, all just kinda hang around and be sad. See, they can kinda almost sorta feel the glory and greatness of heaven, but they're just kinda trapped in this place. Now, this is great, because if they're busy being sad, they won't complain about being, in a shitty house. It doesn't sit up straight or something. They're not gonna care. They're too busy being depressed. These people aren't very violent, and they're not very greedy either, so they're not gonna nickel and dime us for 1 week, charge them rent every month, and they'll probably just accept it, honestly. Now, you might be thinking, well, it seems we already found it. We have Circle 1, where all the good people, but not good enough people are. Let's build a condo and everything will be great. If they didn't already have a castle to live in. You see, all the people who live in Limbo live in this big castle that has 7 gates, which apparently symbolize the 7 virtues, meaning they already have housing. And it's unlikely we'll be able to convince them to leave the house because one castle was put there by the big man upstairs, and our houses is made by underpaid construction workers. Essentially, the competition here is just too steep. So we're gonna have to keep going deeper, which is a shame too, as apparently the first circle of hell is described as being verdant, which basically means that it's kinda pretty with nice green fields. Second circle of hell. Okay, for real, this place sucks. So you might be thinking, oh, second circle of hell, this is where the lustful people are, where they are unironically captive in horny jail forever. These people would be the perfect saps for our delicious condos. But oh boy, would you be wrong. See, this stupid place has the most dumbest wind patterns I've ever seen. To give you an idea, the more lusty you are, the stronger the winds carry you around. Basically, they're being flung around by essentially a tornado, depending on how horny sinner you are. So imagine how expensive it's going to be to not only try to get the construction crews here, but also to keep the houses from just collapsing constantly. And this is, assuming we even can build the house in the first place with the endless wind. I don't know how to turn it off, and they can't really pay us since, they're just constantly being flung around in the endless tempest. There's the second layer of hell. Frankly, it's a terrible place with horrible real estate development, and it would be like building housing on an island that's constantly hit by hurricanes every month. Oh wait, that's like Haiti. Moving on. Third ring of hell, gluttony. Jesus Christ, it smells down here. Okay, so we have a couple of problems here. The first one, as per mentioned, is a smell, because we're in the land of endless raining filth and excrement is being rained down upon us constantly. Now this makes a landscape a bit like a sludge that smells, as you can imagine, awful. But another problem is the tenants. See, these people are constantly hungry and constantly trying to eat. They just kind of scream a lot because their hunger is never sated. But even if, like I said, the tenants were good, the thing is that everything's unbalanced sludge. And there's no flat ground anywhere. Basically, there's no place that you could even build. Even if we gave them really shitty housing, I don't know if they would even be able to simply stand upright. Frankly, the only good thing here is the free security. Cerberus, who just hangs out here and keeps guard over the gluttonous. Did I mention the sludge is also like an icy sheet as well? Old people don't move to cold climates. They move to warm climates. Another strike against this pathetic circle. Dumb circle. No benefit. Glad to be leaving for the next one. On to the note of the next one. Forfeiting of hell. Greed or avarice? I've never heard of avarice. Okay, so, you know the Hunger Games? It's kind of like that, you see. You have people who hoard wealth, and you have the other people who constantly spend wealth. And they both hate each other, to no end, and constantly fight. They also have, like, these big weights against them, which symbolize all of the wealth that they hoarded or spent. Now, these people would love some houses, don't get me wrong. They would probably kill each other, in fact, for them, just to have the nicest house. The problem is that this is what we call in the business a red zone. See, this is where network investments, let alone real estate, goes to die. See, these residents are so prone to crime, if you will, and fighting that any stable community isn't actually going to last. They'll constantly fight each other and beat each other up. And well, they are greedy, so they might not even pay you rent in the first place. It'd be like if we walked down there and forced them to, and then probably the ones that we do manage to, like, pay us anything are gonna get beat up because this would mean that they had enough wealth to spend, which would piss people off, and yada yada yada. It's an endless, like, consuming vortex of, well, if he has enough money to spend, that means he's hoarding, and yada yada yada. The worst part is that the land isn't even that bad. In fact, it's certainly better than the toxic sludge place, but the people here ruin it. Better circle, but not what we're looking for. Moving on. Fifth circle, Wrath. Ugly, stinky, muck-filled river. If the last place was like a red zone, this is the red-ist zone. So this is the place filled with all the people who are essentially so damn angry, they are just constantly fighting each other in the muck. But with even more violence and fury than most of the cowardly, greedy guys. Some people here, I kid you not, are so angry, they don't even rise to the surface to fight because they're so busy being angry they can't even move. Trying to explain to these people the privileges of suburban housing and see how far that goes before they start trying to tear out your throat. Maybe you could just pour some concrete on these people, get stable enough housing, and call it good. But the residents who you don't put beneath 10 feet of concrete are going to be insane. They're not going to be good tenants. The residents here have lovingly crafted every possible slur from 10 different dead languages at me, so I say we just start leaving before they get any ideas. Sixth circle. This is where the heretics hang out. And by hanging out, I mean they technically have a house in their own way, since they all commit an act of heresy depending on the severity of said heresy. As ordained by the teachings of the Catholic Church, the hotter the tomb is. Minor heresy will get you like a hot tone, but that kind of burns. Mega heresy will get you basically near the point of boiling blood water forever. See, this circle takes place in a big fortress. I'm talking real big. Meaning there's plenty of flat land around to build on. The problem is that literally every resident here is in their own tomb. They can't leave, or that'd be kind of going against the whole punishment thing. Meaning, once again, the stupid circles of hell have denied us either good land to build on, or B, good tenants to build houses for. I guess we could build houses for the fallen angels and demons here, but they kind of have their own place, so it probably wouldn't work. In summary, cool fortress. Kind of cool tombs, in like a morbid kind of way. Bad tenants, moving on. Seventh circle, where the people who had an angry gamer moment are kept. This is a circle of those who are violent, attacking someone, killing someone, you know, the works. And the more violent you are, the more your blood boils, meaning the more pain you experience, kind of thing. Kind of like the tomb experience, but this one's a little more painful, I assume. They are joined by people who got a little goofy and committed suicide, where they turn into bushes and trees, if you can believe it, and are fed upon by harpies. I suppose bushes can't pay rent, so there goes that group. The next group is the blasphemers. They are the people who stand on, like, burning stand all day. Kind of like if you were stuck on a beach with no shoes, you just kept burning your feet wherever you were walking. That's how I assume this place is kind of like. Kind of a weird punishment might be right next to the people who, like, killed themselves, but no matter, I guess. Now, real estate could be built here, but the problem is that, like, if we built them houses, wouldn't they be kind of going against their punishments? Which would mean they wouldn't be suffering anymore, which kind of goes against the whole point of them being here. Seems like that might be, like, a regulation thing against it. Okay, so now that I'm thinking about it, maybe there are some regulations in hell. We'll give this place a big ol' maybe and move on. 8th circle. Fraud. Okay, this circle is a little weird because it's like a bunch of trenches, right? And depending on the type of fraud you did, you're put into a different trench. If you sow discord and division amongst your fellow humans, you're pointed to a specific trench. You were a politician who lied a lot, you're put in a specific trench. See, I call them trenches, but they're more like really big paths that are connected by bridges. Everyone's just walking around all the time and being tortured in their own special ways, depending on what they did. Unfortunately, these people won't be able to benefit from the condo special, because, once again, they're forced to walk around forever, meaning they can't be in a home. A shame, because a lot of tenants here are basically normal. Well, by people in hell standards, by the way. Alright, I'm starting to realize, like, no one built real estate here. Alright, with unbridled enthusiasm, let's get to the final stupid circle in this hellhole. 9th circle of hell. Treachery. Here it is, gents. The worst sinners. These are the people who betrayed loved ones, their countries, or God. They are given the privilege of being frozen in ice and then submerged in the water. The more grievous their sin, the more you're submerged in the icy water. These people even have the privilege of being tortured in the presence of Satan himself, who is also, by the way, trapped here. And already this place is basically a bust. See, everyone is basically frozen, so they can't exactly walk around. And you don't exactly have anything they can do since they're being tortured all the time, so you can't really just take them out. So it's not going to work here either. All these stupid circles we've traversed, every single one of them somehow getting crazier and crazier, and yet the real sin, frankly, is the fact that not a single one of these places is good for suburban life. I had a seeking feeling before, but now I'm starting to figure why no one built anything here. But, since we've come all this way, what is the best place if we're going to build to be really? Drum roll, please. Yeah, it's the first circle. Okay, it's the only place that has actually good terrain. For the tenants are all normal. Have some steep competition with the giant castle put here by God. But since they are here forever, maybe they'll get curious and live somewhere else. Do some self-flagellation, if you will, to be pious. There are other areas that could work, but the terrain is either so terrible it wasn't going to happen, or they couldn't live in homes because of their punishment, or they were just downright insane. Meaning the only real viable place is the first one. Congrats, guys. And there you have it, gents. Dante's real estate adventure, now in 3D. And there you have it, folks. If you don't want to end up in the 9th circle of hell due to treachery, maybe you could hit that subscribe button, maybe. It would mean the world to me, if you would. I'd have to deal with so much pain going through all these circles. It's the least you can do to help me out a little. And I hope to see you in the next one. See ya.